Today marks 1694 day of day lessons, day reflections. And today will be not a positive day. And if you want positivity, probably not the best lesson. Because I was thinking that every single struggle, every single loss, grief, disappointment could make you bitter or could make you better. But I realized that if you really try to be better all the time, that could potentially lead to bitterness. But I think that's when you're going through stuff. Sometimes when you really want to understand who you truly are, sometimes you need to go through bitterness. A short period of time. You're not supposed to stay there. But I think that we need to experience that bitterness. It's very, very hard to really appreciate goodness without experiencing badness. And I think that we need to experience bitterness just for a season that you know what it is. And you say, I know what bitterness is. I felt it. And I choose not to ponder on it. Because I really love that there is a huge difference between a thought and a thinking. A thought is that a negative thought comes in, but I don't think about that constantly about that thought. It just thought came in and went out, and we're not supposed to be sad about it. The thought is thought, but thinking and really pondering on that thought, that's is our choice. Even when I am reading a great book right now, and it says that what we're supposed to do, we're supposed to observe our speaker in our mind. And it's interesting when you start observing what your mind is telling you, sometimes it interrupts the thinking of the negative things. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to really start observing because it says that what your mind is telling you most time is not true. Being able to observe what it's telling is extremely important. So today we'll share like probably like 7 things that we're able to really reflect on. That is just from the harsher truths. Number one, the person who suffered is not always the person who heals. Maybe in the past I would never understand that, but when you really suffered, when you went through losses and the relationships, uh, there's disappointments, there's injuries, like there's so many things that could potentially go wrong. And at some point, it might be that you got injured. And because of those injuries, disappointments, griefs, ends of relationships, that version of you that got disappointed, got injured, died with that struggle, with that pain. So now the healing part is the new version of you. And I think that is such a, maybe this is a positive thing and a negative thing. Negative thing is that that old version of you have died. Positive thing is that maybe it's even easier now to heal because the new version of you likes different things, appreciates different things. And because of that, I think that it's much supposed to be even easier to heal because that new version of you didn't get injured. That old version of you made mistakes. Old version was didn't have the wisdom. Old version you didn't had understanding. New version has it. And maybe it's a beautiful thing. I thought it's a harsh thing, but it's a harsh that your old version died, needed to die because of massive disappointments. But it's a positive thing because now a new version of you emerged, and that new version is much better. Number two is every attachment carries a price of eventual loss. I really love the statement that grief is a pay is the price you pay for love that you carry, for the moments that you experience. Because if you never experience love, you will never experience grief. So that means that every attachment that you have will eventually lead to loss. One of my friends lost a dog that he had like for 7 years, and was a massive grief as well. And I think that's again when he reflected about all the experience that he had. Again, attachment. And we need to understand that at some point we will lose it. It will be massive healing period. But again, it's worth it. It's worth because sometimes they say, "Oh, I don't want to have relations. I don't want to build anything because there could be a loss." How to live a life of thinking that there will be a loss? Maybe thinking about that, how much you're able to experience of goodness, of bliss, of joy, knowing that there will be a loss because everything will have a loss. Everything will lead to loss at some point. Knowing that, I think it's easier to really go and pursue things because you know no matter what, there will be some loss anyway. Number three, the world does not care about your pain. Again, the world is running. It will run with you, without you, doesn't matter. Nobody cares. And I think that this is one thing that I needed to learn as well is that at the beginning, I used to be very, very secretive person, everything to myself and never share anything. And then I thought, okay, I will try to really share my perspectives, my feelings, the things that I'm going through. And I shared them, and people just didn't understand. And I just like, what's going on? Like, where is that? And I think that one thing that I learned is that every single person going through pain, they don't care about your pain. They care about their own pain. That their pain is quite big, and as I really love the example, is that pain is like air in the room. It spreads out evenly, and the bigger the room, it spreads out. So our mind is like that air. It spreads in our mind, and it's just so big, and that's why we don't have enough capacity to be compassionate enough to others. Now, some people are better, some people worse, but if you share it, in general, world doesn't care about your pain, and that's why we need to execute no matter what the universe telling us. Number four, most suffering comes from arguing with reality. And again, we can say blame, complain, and say it's not fair. And I think that when you start to say that is not fair, that shows that our wisdom is still low. Life will never be fair. Never. And knowing that, I think that it gives permission to really pursue and do the things anyway. You know that sometimes people work hardest and they never get results. Some people just do a little bit and they get massive results. What fairness is it that some people struggle a whole their life and they never get a break? And some people just born into wealth and success. How fair is that? And I think that's when we look into a very short period of time, we think that that is not fair. But I think that when we really look into the bigger picture, we start to realize that we do not know what we do not know. And I really love what the Bible says that people who are first, they are last, and who are last, they are first. And that's it. It might be that when you look into the what happens after, and there's a lot of thoughts could be, and then of course I'm not going into that direction, but the most topic that I wanted to really discuss is that we a lot of times really arguing with reality. Sometimes with the way how we look, the way how we, the things that we are not able to change, and we need to really discuss again what I'm able to change, and if I'm able to change, do something, and if I'm not able to change, maybe yes, I need to stop crying about it and argue about it. Number five, nobody owes you understanding. And interesting because I already shared that the world does not care about your pain, but nobody owes you understanding either. That means that, as I already shared, that I tried to really give explanation to people, but they just seem to don't understand. They just didn't understand my decisions. They didn't see a whole picture of all the things that they go through. And I think that minimizes my pain. It minimizes the things that I go through, and I think that I did probably probably 100%, 9,000 times. I probably did that to other people as well. That when people share something and they didn't understand, and because I didn't understand, I minimized the impact that something is doing to other people. It's very easy to misunderstand. And I think that we need to be compassionate to each other, ability to understand us. Such an interesting thing. Number six, the deepest freedom comes when you have nothing left to prove. The deepest freedom comes when you have nothing to prove. And I think that this is a beautiful thing. I think that one of the biggest things that I learned this year, and I'm very happy and joyful about it, is that I faced my demons, and it really allowed me to become more to myself, more authentic to myself. I really do the things that I want to do for the sake of me, not for any other people, but for myself. Because I think that's one thing is that I really learned that start to enjoy being alone, to be content, and really even saying that okay, I would be okay in 20 years if I'm alone. I don't want to do that. I love people, but if worst case scenario I mess everything up, I'm okay being alone. I'm content with who I became this year, and I think that's every single person supposed to really face their demons. That they could say that I okay being alone. I'm whole. I'm complete. And if worst case scenario, everything I mess up, I still am happy by myself. That allows to be even better with others. And that's this is an interesting perspective. And last one, number 7, one day you will be forgotten. One day you will be forgotten. And I think that's legacy, of course, important. Make an impact, and by being the person that you could be, by making those transformations, because I love life in general, that even small conversations, if small encouragement conversations could impact thousands. One encouragement statement to a person that landed well could impact thousands through one statement you make. Just insane how powerful is that. But if you really made encouraging word, encouraging statement to a person who takes that word, takes that encouragement, uses that encouragement, goes and pursue big things because of that, and achieves great success, and now that person influences thousands or millions of people down the road. So you planted a seed, another person watered it, and it was just insane when I think about it. How much we able to really just plant couple seeds, small encouragement words, even though that you might be forgotten, but your actions will live long after you. Such a beautiful statement, such a beautiful thing to reflect on. Even though I said that it will be quite negative today and there's nothing positive, even though that I think that is just my mind is wired now to look for positivity. Even though that I know that sometimes I have negative thoughts, especially right now when I in a season of div- building myself up again, because I had an old version of me, that old version disappeared. Now it seems that I'm in a season where my new version is evolving, transforming, and I do not describe that new version of me yet well enough. I do not know where exactly I'm going, because interesting topic I probably will speak in the future is that I was thinking who I want to build myself right now, and who I am and who I want to build. And a lot of times is that what do I want to do and what do I want to have? So that we're always coming back between do, have, and be. Because we need to think about being, but it's super easy to really think about what you want to do, what you want to have, but always cutting back. Okay, so who I want to be, that is the most important thing when you think about life and new version of you, and it's a beautiful thing. So today I didn't have very clear message. Just wanted to really discuss, reflect, because I think that is extremely important sometimes. Just allow your mind to wander, because when we wander and we adventurous, even within our own mind, within ourselves, we find rooms that we never thought about, and I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I hope you choose to win, and see you tomorrow.